put this on, did I? We'll run this for like 3 seconds here. Ready? Watch this. You do this. Because it's made, so we gotta do it, right? Go like that. Go here. Good. Alright, come back in. We're doing this. Alrighty, good morning. Do this. And we're good. We're coming out. Guys, I'm coming to you live from a horrible... I gotta learn how to shave better. Got done with straight razors, and sometimes if I just go too fast, I'm just like all cut up. So what's up with that? We'll put some light on and make it even worse. That's okay. Figure it out. We'll do that there. See if our boys jump in here. We got Mr. Blaze over here. My day is better whenever Blaze pops in. So.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh man, I missed that. I feel like we weren't getting that for a bit.
Happy September 9th, 2024. It's a Monday. We're here. Ryan's here. What's up?
We're doing it, man. Hey, how was your weekend?
It was good. I think I had a really good weekend. I mowed a lawn. I touched some water. I drew some pictures because I'm doing like DJ Kaufman's Draw or Die Club, and still doing the Daily Dads. And I went to yoga this morning, so I'm centered. So it's just a great day. Great day.
Oh man, you know there is a difference. I feel like in Blaze's energy sometimes when he does his yoga. I hope that is something that can continue for now too.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna feed that into my gratitude. One of the things that I think a lot about is cadence. No, that's not an ex-girlfriend, but the actual like cadences. And with football right now, they do a lot with cadences like hut, hike.
Nice. I like the tie-in.
And so I've been trying to do yoga 3 days a week.
Yeah, I hear you.
Orange Theory 2 days a week. But then it's always, I'm spending all this mental energy where it's like, well, what days am I doing what? So I think I'm going to throw out that playbook and start a new one where it's like yoga Monday through Friday, 5:45 to 6:45. And then when the kids have aftercare, go to Orange Theory. So I almost do 2 days on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so that week, every week, I know this is the time slot that I'm doing these things. And I mean, it's seasonal. It's just like that's the season that I'm in for this fall. And that way I don't think about it anymore. And if I miss it, great. I just know that we'll try and re-plug in the next week. So that's where my mind went today. Just thankful that I get to move my body and prioritizing fitness.
That's awesome. You know what? I love what you're saying, and I think what I'm hearing, tell me if I'm wrong, sometimes I think everyone gets so short in their thinking when I think we're not looking at the big picture. I think that people think it's so acute, like they missed one workout or they didn't have a good week. But really, if you look at the big picture, it can be like a blip in everything. So as long as we can get back in there and we know kind of what to revisit, that's good. You're always so good at that. You're always so good at just being like, look, I know what I got to do, but when I get the chance, I'm going to really motivate myself to get there.
Oh, thanks, man. What about you? How's your
weekend? Weekend was definitely good. Weekend was it was a recentering. It was getting back to kind of normal. I feel like it's just been so busy. I mentioned the other day that I take a little bit for transition to kind of get back into things. So it takes me a bit, and I feel like I haven't really had a good more than 2.5 week or more than 2 week stretch of being at home. So I had a little bit of that, which was nice, but then we're taking off to go camping on Wednesday morning. So I will reconfigure myself. I've packed for camping pretty much already so far, and we should be good. So it'll be fun.
Wait, you're leaving for camping Wednesday morning?
Yeah. Oh, is there a lot of echo on my side? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No. Okay, I'll figure it out. It could be the fact that I'm just speaking on a wall. Let me see if this helps. This could be better. Yeah, no, even because I guess the campsites are just, they can be like really really busy because we're going up to Acadia, and so Acadia is just a busy national park, and I think the campsites are really busy in general. And so I think we are trying to get there like early enough, and then there's like some sunrise kind of drives up in some of these mountains over here that we are trying to get to. So I think we're leaving a little bit early.
That's awesome. So, are you taking the kids out of school for 2 days then?
Yeah, we are. And I feel like that's a really good conversation too, because I definitely feel, I remember growing up that my dad would always praise us because he was a teacher too. He would praise us for like perfect attendance. But I feel that assuming that if you go to school and you have perfect attendance, that that makes you a good student, it doesn't really. I feel like it's something where, if the quality isn't so great, of every single day, what's the point of being there? And I feel like there's so much education with camping and getting to a national park and being with family that can be that much more fulfilling. So that's where my thought is.
Um, that's awesome because I've never done that, but my brother's done that. You're talking about doing it because for New York Comic Con, I was thinking about taking one of the kids out of school that Friday so they
Yeah.
can come to New York Comic Con and go to the tournament and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Are you excited to go to Comic Con?
Um, I've been really, really busy, and Heather's September is always crazy, and I have a wedding like 2 weekends before, so I never want to do something where it's like, well, they're having this event, so I guess I have to go. It's crazy because I feel like Comic-Con just happened, but there's so much that's happened over the past year. And last time I went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so this year I'm thinking, I wanted to talk to you to see if you wanted to go to Legoland that Saturday, but I don't know what your plans are, but just planting a seed. Those are all my thoughts.
Yeah, let me know. It'd be good because I know that Sloan actually mentioned wanting to go to Legoland, which is like out of the blue. So it was definitely an exciting thing. I was like, oh, I know a guy who wants to go to Legoland, so we can make that a thing. It'd be fun.
And in October it's Halloween, and so like kids get to dress up and stuff. And I'm hoping to bring DeMille, and hopefully DeMille and Sloan can hang out.
Yeah, I would love that. I think that they would definitely love to be with each other. So let's make it a thing there. But yeah, we'll definitely plan. Did I get my gratitude? What was my gratitude? My gratitude was, and if anyone else has gratitude, let's make sure we can give some voice to the couch over here. But the gratitude to, what did I write down? I wrote down this like early. I've realized, Blaze, I've realized that that the first gratitude I can think of in the morning is the gratitude I've been going with. And I've actually took a page from your book here, I guess literally and figuratively. You have a book, I think it's like 1 sentence a day for gratitude. Is that what you said? Or is that what your book is?
It's a 5-year journal, and it's not exactly like a gratitude notebook, even though I'm a huge fan of gratitude notebooks. Mm-hmm. It's just really cool because like I started it in 2019 and I have not been very disciplined with it, but I'm trying to be more disciplined with it. Yeah. And so like I did it a lot in 2019, 2020. And so it's really cool to revisit some of the thoughts that I had like 5 years ago. Like 5 years ago, I had 2 kids, not 3 kids. 5 years ago, I lived in Boston and was starting a new job. 5 years ago, Heather and I had been married for 3 or 4 years, not 8 or 9 years. So it's just really cool to see. And it's also sad because one of the things that I talked about was like how much I love one of my coworkers who was like a mentor to me, and she died a couple years ago. So that's super sad. But it just, I think it makes my reflection that much deeper, that I see where my thoughts were 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Got it. Yeah, I think I think looking back, I have like little journals that I usually keep, and they're like kind of lined up in my closet for all thoughts. And it's not everything's linear, but it's interesting to look back, or at least know that I could look back. I did take away though about, have you ever, what is this? I'm gonna botch this, but someone mentioned about like the what is it, like 2-sentence emails? Like if your email goes more than 2 sentences or 3 sentences or something, it's just too long. And you can kind of get to the point. But I think the one thing that I was thinking about with you and that in mind was that I can probably get my gratitude done in one sentence. And if I can't, I'm probably overthinking it. And I can always overthink. So I was like, okay, when I wake up, the first thing I think about is my gratitude. So my gratitude this morning, without overthinking it, was just being able to travel and being able to camp. And I think being like bringing the girls out of school. And I think the other thing of like just being able to change up the environment. Earlier this week, I mentioned the idea of, or my thought or my gratitude of like being able to have a lot of these decisions within my control. Because I know some people can't, like with whatever job they have or where they live or, with family or kids. So I was just really grateful to have the opportunity to go travel and do those things. So that's where I'm at. But gratitude, kind of give some voice to the chat here. Let's make sure we got this. We saw Dave in the chat. We got Nate in the chat. I saw Anbag pop in the chat. Who else are we seeing right here? Dylan Ray. Good to see you. Brofit was in here too. Everyone, make sure that if you need a little bit of motivation, go check out Brofit's workout just after our show because he will be there for you. And also remember that when you look at something like a workout online and even like a cooking show, I always think, don't think that you have to do it in the moment, but it's there for motivation a lot of times for some people. So don't think that it's not going to be helpful if you're not doing workout. But Nate, great read today. Teach them to notice. I had a little bit of a challenge with this one today, and we'll get to it in just a second. But I definitely like that you are bringing it into like the racing, the motorcycle world, because like noticing is, I think, is a really big thing there. David, yeah, I think pulling kids out of school can be so helpful because I think there's so much education that we can give our kids in the real world versus just sitting in a classroom sometimes. Obviously, that good balance is going to be a necessary thing. But gratitude over here, David, your gratitude was that gratitude was my 100-year-old tulip poplar tree in the backyard.
That's awesome.
That's. Did you see that tree before, Blaze?
I can't like when I think of that tree and geography of Columbus, Ohio, I can't like picture it in my mind, but I have a picture in my mind of what I think it would look like. So I'd love to see a picture. David, you should send it to me. I did want to say, and Bags gratitude. I'd love to hear more about the mindset thing with Emmy. Bryson starts his first lacrosse practice today, and he was already in tears and crying, saying that I'm forcing him to do stuff this morning. So that's like some emotional baggage that I'm carrying today. But I'm going to try and come to a place of, hey, let's try it out. If you just want to sit in my lap and watch the whole time, that's fine. And go from there.
I love that you
it's not in Columbus, Ohio. My bad.
I love that you're leaving it open to be like, we just have to show up and like we can kind of cheer for other people. So good on you for doing that. But was a gratitude grateful for a really good conversation mindset with Emmy last night and clicking good. So yeah, I think when something clicks with our kids like that, it just feels so good. And then was that everything? And then Nate over here. I can do this. So let's make sure we do it. Nate over here, community and giving. We signed on to sponsor Jesse's Little Athletics Club this season, and in doing so, we pumped some cash into the club, but also bought 25 vouchers for 5 various local businesses. I mean, like, yeah, helping out those local businesses, it's got to be so special. Awesome, I love it. Where is your mind right now in your in the reading today?
I loved it because I think now that we're talking about it out loud, I think sometimes I'm like a very observant oyster, but I feel like whenever you're observing one thing, you're probably missing something else. But like, I love to like look at the details of things, and probably that goes back to watching like The Bourne Identity. I just remember when he was like, he went to this diner and he's like, I don't know why, but I was walking in and I memorized all the cars and all the license plates before I even came in this diner. And I thought that it was always so cool. And I'm like, I need to do that. Like, you never know when that information could be like really important. And not that I go to diners now and like memorize all the makes, models, and license plates, but I always try to like be really observant of the different things. And I thought, like, how cool is that? Like, my son and I do this I Spy book before bed sometimes. And like, to me, that's what it reminded me of, is like, oh, well, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? And especially in today's day and age where like I'm guilty of it a lot, is where we have our like heads down in our phones. Like I'm always thinking about like how much the outside world that like the generations that come are going to miss because they spend so much time looking at their phone and not so much time like looking at the details in the trees, the wind. Fall starry skies are like my favorite, and they're just like absolutely beautiful right now if you get away from the city at all.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking about like now, like, and I love that he tied into the path that his kids share, but at different times. So he's talking about this like horse cart, and his son could have been like, Dad, like there was no horse cart there. And I could see them launching this conversation about like, well, why wasn't the horse cart there? Like, what time did you see it at? Maybe you saw one horse. Maybe you saw like the evidence of a big horse turd on the road or something like that.
Yeah. I was having a response to this, and I don't know if anyone, and maybe Anne, can I connect with you on this? And then I want to just put a flag in one thing about Blaze. You kind of mentioned about like being in the moment and making sure that we are kind of observing not everything around us. I will say, I don't know if anyone felt this way, and I didn't realize what was going on really until I got a little bit older. But in my mind, I was always observant of every single thing to a point of feeling really overwhelmed when I was younger. So, like, you talked about license plates, and you talked about the cars, and you talked about the people around you. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was so overwhelmed when we went into these public places because I remember just trying to pick up like on everything. Like I heard almost every sound. I saw almost like everything around me. I would want to make sure that I would like turn around and try and find those kind of things. And it became something that I just got used to, but it became very overwhelming. There was a little bit of certain things like, and this sounds like almost like OCD, but wanting to look and kind of like count everything around me too. I'm kind of like, no, it's okay. Well, how many tables are actually in here, or how many people are actually in here too, or how long has it been since we actually got into this place? The hardest thing is that like it wasn't like I didn't remember those things, and it always just felt something like I didn't know why I was always thinking this to a point where I just accepted it, and I was like, I guess everyone does this, and we don't talk about it. And so I always found my brain very aware. And I see my daughter right now, my oldest daughter, she's someone where like I know that when she kind of like her eyes glaze over, she's taking in everything else around her to a point of almost like overwhelm. And so I always try and like pull her back into herself. And I'm going in a direction here of kind of like how frontal lobe development, all those kind of things end up happening, but it's going in the direction kind of like ADHD in this moment. But it was always something where like I remember feeling overwhelmed, but accepting the fact that I was overwhelmed, and then it becoming just the norm. And it was always a really difficult thing. And I get so nervous now, like when I was reading this, and I was like, man, there's so many things that I would have like wanted to pick up on and like talk with my parents about, but like it was almost to a point I didn't know how to put it into words. And so I'm always very aware of it with my oldest daughter. My youngest daughter is still developing even more, but that's where my head went for a second, where it's like it's great, but I want to understand like how is our kid picking up on these details and pulling it into their world. Does that resonate with you at all, please?
Oh yeah, like 1,010%. Like I'm just like really curious because I try to live, my life without like regret and guilt and all that stuff. And I think about things that me and my parents have never talked about. And I want to have all these conversations with my kids. But I'm also looking at it and being like kind and compassionate to myself. There's no way that I can cover everything in the world with my daughter and two sons. So then you got to think about like, okay, what's important? Like I always think about like your shower friend who's like, no one taught me how to shower. And so like sometimes like my son still struggles. Well, both of I don't know. Some like proper toilet paper etiquette. um because it's like, just do two folds, good to go. And like I'll go in there and there's like these like balls and balls and balls of like, and the toilet paper is gone. And I'm like, I just bought this toilet paper yesterday. What's going on? so I'm digressing a little bit, but just like, I only have them for such a short period of time. What lessons do I want to teach them? And that's why these conversations are so powerful. Like, I want to go like write like a top 10 list now of like things I need to make sure I cover with them while they're with me. So yeah, that resonates like very deeply.
And I'm kind of curious. It's you're talking about this like list, and I feel as if with us going camping and wanting to observe certain things, like what are like I think it's like a grounding thing too. If I could kind of play off of this a little bit, and I think it could definitely help because I wanted to put a flag in something before about helping people kind of stay in the moment, and I think this does that, right? Isn't this kind of allowing like the father and the son be able to kind of stay in the moment together by looking at things around them versus like letting both of their minds just kind of like drift off and then like not connect at all? Like it really is a grounding and connection. It's like really some sort of like joint meditation, if you kind of will, right? Because when people talk about grounding, what do? You look at, this is what I was always taught in therapies is, make sure that you find three things you see, three things that you smell, three things you feel, three things that you hear, and use all your senses there. But it's kind of like that, right? They're kind of like they're remaining present in the moment, as Ryan Holiday says here. So and we can definitely miss these moments. I actually wrote down, I don't know why I wrote this down, but I did, I guess, earlier this morning. I wrote down kindness, right? I think we miss the moments of like seeing someone being kind or seeing someone being thoughtful or seeing someone being throw any adjective there, or be a friend's character adjective. But I think like being able to just remain open to seeing and accepting like what you see around you, because you can definitely miss that. So that's what I had in there.
Love that. I want to go back to the chat for a second. And if you could share that podcast with me, that'd be awesome. My son doesn't listen to a lot of podcasts, but it doesn't mean we can't start. So that'd be awesome. About mindset. David, curious conversation. Love that discussion. Oh, I love that question. What do you see? We play I Spy a lot too. Like we're sitting waiting for food or anything like that. Like I love I Spy.
I feel like that's like the modern, like look at the cart and the horse.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
All right. So it's 8:54. We're like chugging through time today. Oh, steps. All right, guys. We have a steps contest. It's not really I don't even want to call it a contest. Like it's gamifying getting daily steps in. But we're starting with that. One of my coworkers just pulled up to me, and I don't like people pulling up to me. I need to go park farther away. So, all right, steps. We're trying to get steps in. It's fall. It's the great time for fall walks. If you go to the My Daily Dad's Twitter page or X, whatever you want to call it, the pinned post talks all about it. You just need to comment steps, and we're going to throw you in a bowl tomorrow morning. So tomorrow's the deadline to start. But if you miss tomorrow, that's okay. You can jump in at any time. It's just we're going to start tallying points on Wednesday. So you get, I don't know what the point system is, but you get points for daily steps. My goal is to average 10,000 daily because I've been under that. And maybe as this competition's going along, I'll try and up it to like 11,000, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, 20,000, a million. I don't know. We're going to shatter some glass ceilings, and it's going to be fun. And you get extra points for taking a picture in nature or doing something like that. Any thoughts? Or there might be prizes and teams and all that stuff. Ryan's going to be the captain of like the OK team. I'm going to be a captain of the great team, and that's what's going to happen.
Wait, hold on. Let's stay on the purpose of the step challenge really quickly. What is it that you hope that most people are going to be getting out of a step challenge like this?
I just hope, like, because everything, at least for me, is so much easier when it's gamified and you have a community behind it. So like I'm averaging, some days I only get like 4,000 to 5,000 steps a day. And so like, I think the lowest rung of the ladder is just like motivation for myself. But as we go up the ladder, it's having more and more people like jump in, and maybe it unlocks something for them, and adds a different perspective around steps, life, time management, wearables,
or just going outside and going on a 10-minute walk every day and taking a picture with your 100-year tulip tree or something like that. See what I did there?
I like the idea of the picture. Yeah, definitely. We will repost all the rules and stuff like that. I think it's definitely going to be good. I think with dad life, parent life in particular, I think it's that we can easily see things,
Excuse me.
really kind of see ourselves, kind of let things go. One thing that I would love is that if people realize that as these months get busier, especially as we kind of get into the holidays, most Americans will gain like 1 to 5 pounds of like unwanted body fat, and it just makes people not really feel good. The issue more is the fact that people don't really lose that weight, and so that's the kind of where like 4 years later, they don't realize why they're up, 8 to 12 to 20 pounds. And so it's something to make sure that we can get through this season, hopefully with like some sort of motivation that can help people. But we also know that motivation is fleeting. And so hopefully we can develop some sort of, community around this, and also just make sure that we are catching people in moments when motivation is low. So, let's, first focus on the first 6 weeks here. And then after that, we can see what's really going on. But I'm definitely excited for it. Team Gray, Team Green. We are going to have some prizes. I know that Dom wanted to send some things over, some VeeFriends inspired stuff. So we're going to have those and we're going to send those out. I think prizes weekly. Is that what you said, Blaze?
No. No. Oh, just like, we're going to tally points weekly for like bragging rights, but at the end we'll do which team has the most points. And then at the end of the 6 weeks doing who's like the ultimate MVP on either team that has like the most points.
Okay. Got it. I think okay. Yeah, that'll be good. So we'll make it happen. Well, thanks for putting it together.
Yeah. Final takeaways from today.
I am going to try and play I Spy a little bit more with my girls and make sure that I am more observant in the environment with them.
I'm going to try and incorporate this into Bryson's lacrosse today that doesn't really want to go to right now, and try and like really talk about his feelings and how we can maybe make it fun, which isn't me just buying him a bunch of Mario stuffies, but I'm open to that as well.
You're such a good dad. All right. Well, guys, we love you so much. And as Blaze always says, we hope that your mug stays full of coffee and your hearts of gratitude.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah,
Happy Monday. Big Life Kids. Check it out.